I want to tell you something that most people don't like to admit. The loneliest time in life doesn't come when you're young. When you're young, you're surrounded by noise, dreams, mistakes, people telling you who you should become. The loneliest time comes later. It comes when the world decides you've already lived your story. I was 62 when I learned that lesson, and I almost missed the last great love of my life. Not because it wasn't there, but because I believed I was too old to notice it. After my wife died, people expected me to fall apart. But that's not what happened. The world didn't collapse. It didn't scream or explode. It just went quiet. The kind of quiet no one warns you about. The quiet that settles into the walls. The quiet that waits for you when you come home. The quiet that follows you from room to room like a shadow. At first, I tried to fill it. I turned the television on, even when I wasn't watching. I kept the radio playing, even when I wasn't listening. People told me to stay busy. So I did. I cleaned things that were already clean. I reorganized drawers that no one would ever open. But being busy isn't the same as being alive. Every Thursday afternoon, I went grocery shopping. Same store. Same parking spot. Same list folded in my pocket. Routine felt safer than thinking. And every Thursday, I saw the same woman. She worked at the customer service desk near the front. Silver hair pulled back neatly. Calm posture. Always reading during her break. She didn't rush. Didn't fidget. She looked like someone who had already learned how to sit with time. We never spoke. Not because we didn't want to, but because, at a certain age, you stop assuming moments mean anything. You stop hoping. Hope feels reckless when you've already lost too much. Then one Thursday, my card didn't work at the register. The line behind me grew uncomfortable. I felt foolish, standing there with groceries I suddenly didn't want anymore. Before I could apologize, she stepped in. "These machines," she said gently, "they forget things sometimes, just like we do." I laughed. It surprised me how natural it felt. She fixed the problem, handed me my receipt, and smiled. As I turned to leave, she said, "See you next Thursday." Margaret asked me to sit with her on a park bench. I knew something was wrong, not by her words, but by the way she held her hands together as if she were trying to keep them steady. She told me she had cancer. Early stage. Treatable, but real. And suddenly, I was back in that familiar place again. That place where love and loss stand too close together. She looked at me and said, "I'll understand if you walk away. I don't want to be someone you have to be brave for." That sentence broke me, because I understood what she was really saying. She wasn't pushing me away. She was giving me a choice. I went home that night and sat alone in the dark. I thought about my wife, about grief, about how carefully I had rebuilt my life to avoid pain. And then I realized something. Love has never been about guarantees. It never was. We just pretend it is when we're young. The next morning, I went back to her. I didn't give a speech. I just took her hand and said, "I'm still here." And that was enough. We had 2 years together. Not dramatic years. Not perfect years. Honest ones. Some days were heavy. Some days were beautiful. Often, they were both at the same time. That's what real love looks like. Quiet strength. Shared silence. Choosing each other even when it's hard. Margaret passed away on a quiet autumn morning. I was holding her hand. She smiled, not sadly, but peacefully. And she said something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. "Thank you for loving me now, not who I used to be." I still go to that same grocery store every Thursday. Same routine. Same aisles. Sometimes I look toward the customer service desk without thinking. And then I remember. Love didn't return to my life to last forever. It returned to remind me that I was still capable of feeling something real. And at this age, that's everything. If you're watching this and you think your time has passed, it hasn't. Love doesn't ask for youth. It asks for honesty. And sometimes, it waits until you're quiet enough to hear it.